Okay, everybody, once again, welcome to Branding Mastery Day 2, where we are going to deep dive a lot into print design and packaging design. And I'm sure branding is a very whole topic, but inside that, on day 1, we did cover everything about logo design, which is one part of branding. Today, we are going to go one step further, which is all about understanding of packaging design and the print design. Okay. So the ones who have missed the part one, the recording is available on our YouTube channel, which is DesignerHub Global. So you can just search DesignerHub, and I'm sure you will find us. And with that, let us get started with today's session. And everybody, stay till the end. You have a lot of insights, a lot of takeaways, some things that people don't even share in paid workshops. Remember that. Okay, it is specifically curated for all of you. So let's start the screen. Can you all just confirm if the screen is visible to all of you? I'm clearly audible, clearly visible. Yes? Just a quick yes. Okay, perfect. With that note, Designer Hub is a simple platform started by me and a lot of other volunteers who are helping me throughout the journey. And we have started this to fill in the gap that colleges and institutions are not teaching, which are required in the real work that you do in agencies or any companies. So we are trying to bridge that gap, helping you all learn the right skills, building connections, and helping you all grow. And together we all grow. And with that note, we have been conducting a lot of free sessions over a period of time. And this is, I think, the 11th or the 12th session that we are doing today. All the previous session recordings are available on our YouTube channel. So you can always feel free to go there and check it out. And in Branding Mastery, today we are going to cover more about packaging design and print design. Okay, so I will directly go into the topic of what is packaging. And I hope everybody is able to see my screen clearly. Today I have my writing pad also. Okay, so it'll be very more interactive and engaging. So let's stay tuned. So, what is packaging? Okay, in a very simple term, like after asking Google, ChatGPT, Claude, and everything, I have just mixed it and made up with this final answer that I could come up with. It's the process of designing and producing the exterior of a product to protect, contain, communicate, and enhance the customer experience. So, we are protecting the items, whatever we have. So, it's one layer of protection. Inside it, it contains the items that we are going to store. Then at the end, it is all about the communication also, because this is one of the first touch point, and it enhances the entire customer experience, because nowadays, unboxing videos are also quite famous. It is the first physical touch point between a brand and its customers. Until a product or any packaging that they're holding, everything has been on the digital world, or it has been on their screens. But this is something that goes inside people's hand, which they are feeling and touching it for the very first time. And a well designed packaging doesn't just hold a product, it represents the entire brand, it communicates its values, and influences the purchasing decisions. I'm sure you all would have faced this. If you're going to any supermarket, I'm sure you have so many products over there, but you are judging things based on the clear communication, clear packaging, and the colors, and it has a lot of psychologically that plays within your mind. And with that, there are different types of packaging. There is no end to creativity in packaging. All of those we will talk as we keep going forward, but that's a very simple definition all about packaging. Now, diving into further, why packaging matters for any brand or any company or anybody. I'm telling you these pointers because this is exactly why you will have to use these terminologies to charge better from your clients. Why should they hire you for the packaging design? Because you are trying to build trust and credibility. You're differentiating yourself from other competitors. You're trying to attract the customer's attention. You are clearly focusing on the communication of the information very clearly. You are trying to get the right product value, and that the image or the projection that you're trying to create for that particular brand or the company is perceived in the right manner. And then you're trying to enhance the overall experience, not just by the product but also by the unboxing and the materials and the touch and feel that you use for your packaging or the product design. And then at the end of the day, it's all about increasing the purchase decisions, which is nothing but increasing the sales and the ROI for the company. And then the last thing, which is it increases the brand recall value. This is something that we all aim for, that a person should go to the store and at the end ask for that particular product, or even if it's not asking by the name, it knows that this is the design that I have to just pick blindly. And I'm sure many of you just go to the store and just pick it blindly. Let's say it is your tea packets, or whether it's your shampoo, or whether it's your toothpaste, or any of those, you just blindly go and you just grab it because the design is stored inside you, and it's very difficult that something that has already been working, it's very difficult for brands to change. And what happens also when brands try to change entirely, we will see some examples as well. And the most importantly, people often judge the quality of the product before experiencing it. So based on the packaging, they are judging you even before experiencing what is going inside the body, or the taste, or all of that is secondary. But they are just judging you based on the box design. And the packaging heavily influences that particular judgment. So these are the main keywords as to why a client should hire you, because you are trying to solve all of these problems for them. So this is what you need to emphasize on from any client perspective who is approaching you for packaging design. Going forward, the first impression and the shelf impact. Okay, so all of these packages are stored in a shelf in any of the stores or retail or supermarkets. So customer typically spends only 3 to 7 seconds, okay, deciding whether to notice a product on a shelf or continue walking. Okay, so people are walking, and if this is your shelf, there are lines of products that have been put up over here. Okay, each product, maybe you just have got two rows. Okay, all of these two rows are individual products, but among all of these, you need to stand out so that the person stops by over here and thinks twice and then makes the purchase decision within those few seconds that he's spending on that product. And all that matters is what the person is trying to get to know is nothing the information. So what is the first impression? Basically, capturing attention by good design. Secondly, the clear communication of the brand. Then the explanation of the product. What is it that they are going to get by buying this, or whether it is really helpful, whether it is healthy for their body, or whether it's organic, or whatever is the USP you are trying to sell. Then you are trying to build a brand trust, that okay, by some proof of presence, brand trust you are trying to build. And then you are trying to create that curiosity also. Many at times they don't give all the information, they are like, taste it and you will experience it. So that's like creating curiosity and encouraging the customers to pick it up. And that could depend on multiple factors. One is your design and packaging, and lastly, it completely depends on the price point. Okay, so price is also very important. And inside all of these products that you see on the shelves, let me tell you, most of the brands spend up to 60% of their cost on packaging and marketing. This is at 60% of the cost. Okay, if you have seen your Shark Tank, and if you have been following Shark Tank, you will see the breakdown of a lot of startups, right? You will notice that almost 40 to 60% is going just for packaging and marketing together. It could be all types of marketing, performance marketing, SEO, ads, and all of that. Along with that, the packaging. And that is why this part of P, which is packaging, becomes very, very important, because it is the 40 to 60% budget of any company. And people have got big budgets for packaging design. I'm telling you, it's not that you need to sit for hours and just make some small bucks. There are agencies which only do packaging designs for food brands. Nothing else they take. They don't take any other projects apart from packaging design. And there are agencies that are flourishing in that domain. They have been designing for all the big international companies to Indian companies to big MNCs that you can name them. Okay, and they are based out of Hyderabad, and there's a team that works completely remotely only in packaging designing, working with brands like ITC as well. And they have a team of good 30 to 60 designers working all remotely, but the company is running for last 4 to 5 years. And this ability to stand out among the competing products is known as shelf impact. Okay, so standing out in that shelf is the entire game that we are trying to learn. And behind this game, what are those things that go in, and what are the skills that we have to build, is what we are going to focus on. Okay, so now there's a difference between a normal designer and a good designer. You could be a normal designer not knowing all the technicalities but still do the output. But the one who is charging you higher is maybe because he or she is having good technical knowledge on that, and that you are not having a lot of back and forth with the printing or with the entire process of your designing. And that's exactly what the client wants. He wants to have that trust that once I have handed over the design to you, I am like, I am don't have to worry. I am completely confident that you will be the right person who will see end to end till the product comes to reality in my hand. Now, between this, all that happens is, one is the designing of the labels, Okay, then you have to print it and then you have to put it on it, and that's when the final product comes. So it's not just that you have to design the label, you have to understand the end to end production. Only then you will be able to design it rightly. So this ability of making it stand out from the competing products is what is known as shelf impact. Now, strong shelf impact can be created by these following items. So you can see this is the shelf, and there are a lot of products over here. How do you stand out? So let's understand few of the common technicalities again for the shelf, because many of these designers miss this small little thing. Any shelf that you see, okay, will have a container like this, and let's say this is the base of that particular container. They won't be completely open. Okay, they will have a little small little flap over here. Okay, this flap is there which will have the price or information or something, correct? Do you all agree? Now, whenever your product is placed, trust me, your product is not raised above the flap. Your product goes beneath the flap. So, this particular part, okay, so let's say I put another color, is not visible to your customer. Okay, so now let me draw it again so that you all can understand it much more better. If this is your tray, then you have this particular flap, and you have your product over here, and because of your product, in reality your product is of this height, okay, but on the shelf only this part is visible. Okay, because the rest of it which is over here in the invisible area got covered due to this flap which was present over here. Now this flap could either have the price or information of the product or the category or whatever that they have written, as you can see over here. Can you see? Yes. And this is something that we miss out, and we end up putting lot of important information at the bottom part many at times, which is not even being seen by the customer, because customer is walking by, he's just going to see, okay, the name, the logo, or the product that you have, then you will have some design, and then you have some important part hidden over here that's gone for a toss, because you have never designed by thinking how the shelf impacts the entire product. Okay, so keep that in mind always while you're designing as to how your products are going to be placed. Now let me tell you, you will come across different kinds of shelves. You cannot standardize that, because each shop will have its own way of presenting the shelves, and there's no standard format in that. And even on that, every shelf that you buy, people rent out this space. Okay, so they will rent out this space of two racks, or two bottle space will be rented, which will, till the depth of it, maybe it could hold 50 pieces. Okay, and you are paying for number of spaces that you are buying for that particular rack. Okay, it is not like you can rent the entire rack. You are renting a small little portion of that rack for your product to be present over there. Let me give you a very simple example, a live example from my clients' learnings. A simple product that we have in Hyderabad, we have a supermarket called Ratnadeep. If you have to put your products in Ratnadeep shelf, okay, that to let be n number of pieces, just for 1 month, the cost of that shelf, okay, that shelf will be like around 2 feet in width. Okay, okay, so that is your product, and depth is almost around 4 feet. So 2 by 4 feet is your entire shelf. Okay, or generally 3 feet, not even 4 feet, because hand doesn't go beyond that. So 2 by 3 feet is your shelf, and this shelf rent for a month cost 1 lakh rupees. I'm just talking about one supermarket. Okay, now one supermarket for a month cost 1 lakh rupees for a brand like Ratnadeep. And now multiply that by the number of chain stores. Let's say you are going for 10 stores. Okay, that becomes 10 lakhs. They might give you a deep discount because you're going for multiple of those stores. Maybe they will end up at putting it at 6 lakhs. So you are just spending 6 lakhs for your product to even just be present over there on the shelves. Okay, these are for the startup brands. Now there are some brands which for sure are daily needs or daily consumer wants. Those brands don't have to pay any rent. That's like, it's the consumer demand. But new products that have come into the market which are testing with the consumer demand and the brand is not yet built, they have to pay these rental amounts. So remember, if you're designing any kind of packaging, one, the cost is just not about the thing that you're designing. So this is why I'm telling you this is you should always have these numbers in your mind so that you know how to convince the client, sir, you're going to end up spending 5 to 10 lakhs rupees just for the shelves, and if you don't spend on your product to stand out, you're going to miss out on the opportunity. So for it to stand out is why I'm charging you good 30,000 rupees or 40,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees. When you explain like this, so you're using an anchor of 6 lakhs to 10 lakhs, and then you just tell like 50,000 rupees a small amount for this, a client cannot say no, because now it client also has the fear like, oh yes, if, and client also realizes that this person has more technical knowledge than me, and he has a depth of knowledge because you are talking in the terms of experience. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember while you're designing, which many people don't talk about or have missed out learning it. Okay, so coming back to the strong shelf impact, one is clear visual hierarchy, which is very important. It is a main part of the design principle. Then bold and consistent branding, which is very, very important. So you can see over here, though this image is very small, though there are multiple of this, I can very clearly read that, okay, this is CTOR, whatever is this. I can see this is LEFFE, leafy. Okay, I can read this as IPA. Okay, and now imagine this thing. Can I read this? No, right? Because it is not bold, it is not clear, it is cursive. Lost. My focus is lost. I am a person who is moving like this, like this, like this. It has to gain my attention. Now, which brand out of all has gained this attention? Even though it's a blurry image, a very simple image, IPA. Clear? Automatically, the sales of this brand on this store will go up. Okay, and also this is also an important study. There are people which job is only to create store or shelf experiences. That also itself is a job, designing self experiences for the customer walk-ins. Now, your product is kept beside which product also makes a big choice of difference for the customer to make the decision. Okay, now let's say these are all unknown brands to you. You will end up picking this because this is very clear, bold, and this thing, and it's highlighting. Okay, it's very clear. Also, if you notice, okay, you can see they have used a green bottom. Okay, there's no information in it because even if there is a rack, this is only going to get covered, which is like zero information loss. All the information is kept above itself. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing how smartly they have designed? So these are the kind of small nitty gritties that you have to keep in mind while you're designing. Now let's go more forward. So readable typography, okay, as we saw over here, and then strategic use of colors. You can see everyone is having different colors, but which color is standing out? Either this orange is standing out, or this green is standing out, or this red is standing out. This one fail, this one fail, this one fail. Okay, so 1 2 3 colors are pass. Strategic use of colors. Also remember, the stores have a different lighting for the day and different lighting for the night. Based on the lighting, also your product materials refract the light differently. Maybe if the lighting is increased and directly falling onto this thing, and if the thing is very glossy, it is not readable. It is going to becoming like this. It is going to become dull like this. This is actually not dull because of the light being falling on this, and this is already in light colors. This has become more dull. Maybe in reality is a very premium product, but this is how it is looking to the customer when he is walking. Okay, but same glass, same glossy effect, but the light is falling on this also, still standing out. Light is falling on this also, still standing out. I can tell you very clearly light is falling because you can see the highlights over here, white highlights in this. Can you see, everybody? Yes or no? Yes, right? You can see all of those white highlights. Okay, so again, lastly, balanced white space. All of these are well balanced, no problems in that. So these are the strong things that you need to keep in mind while you're designing any product from a shelf perspective. And if the customers don't notice your products, they are not going to buy it. Remember that. So all game is of attention. The biggest game of packaging design is all about gaining the attention. Whether you gain the attention by clear fonts or clear communication, or through colors, or through whatever unique thing that you do to gain the attention. Okay, and these days a lot of those brands are going for viral marketing where people make those unboxing videos. They invest on packaging because unboxing videos become their free marketing on social media for which they don't have to spend. And that is why they think, okay, spending 10 rupees here is extra rather than spending 50 rupees on a marketing campaign. So it's okay, they will invest on packaging. So that's how the boom of packaging has also grown throughout globe. Okay. With that, which juice can would you pick? Okay. All the three are for an orange juice. Okay. Now let's say I go to the store and I'm like, I want to pick an orange juice. Which one would you pick? Tell me clearly. Okay. Most of you are telling two. One and two, one and two, one and two, one and two, one and two. Very few come up with three. Okay. Why? Because one big reason, the blue color can doesn't connect with orange. Okay. So the color failure, one reason. Second, if you notice, there's a, let's say, let's put a shelf over here. Okay. Which is the rack. Okay. This is a shelf. Okay. All this information that you see is gone. Okay. Important information gone over here in this design. Failure. Okay. Even if I come over here, this is still safeguarded because there's no information loss happening. I can still see 250 ml clearly, juice orange. And you know the brand very clear. Here the brand is very clear. Just by this orange, I know okay. And Fanta has already done enough marketing for the orange juice and they have just told added orange flavor. Very simple. Okay? Oops, 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 oops. Yeah. Clear everybody? Yes or no? So either the one or the two is a pass. This one is a fail. And again, this looks like orange drops. I don't know what it is. I want a juice. I don't want drops like this. So somehow the meaning communication. It is having both the things. It has a full orange, it has drops. Okay, trying to overdo it. Okay. And if you see another mistake, now Fanta is still okay, it will pass in all angles. But let's say if this can is rotated a little bit, okay? It gets rotated while you're placing. Nobody is going to place it very straight like this, right? That your orange is going to be visible. Let's say if this part is not visible. What are you going to read? You're only going to see it as juice. Fail, right? This one, let's say they are trying to tell it's an orange juice, but Rani float is much bigger than the orange juice. Can you see? Brand has become much bigger than the product or the item. Again, a mistake. Never do that. Be very clear about what is it that they are going to get. Fanta, they have put it very clear, even if rotated here and there, because they have built the brand identity. Though orange is very small, but they have this visual communication of the orange. Okay. And the color itself is orange. People know it. Okay. So that's how multiple angles, how you need to think. Now, every packaging consists of lot of these info. Minimum of 8, max of these 12 items. Okay. One, it will have the brand logo. Second, it will have the product name. Third, the product info, the USPs that you try to highlight, the product visuals that you have, maybe the orange that you saw or any kind of visual that you have, the ingredients that you have to mention as per the norms and government norms, usage instructions, which is also mandatory nowadays, manufacturing information, the address and all of that, barcode or QR code for the MRP scanning and all, nutritional value, again a mandate by the FSSI body, certifications like the FSSI certification or any other certifications that you have to compulsory mention, and the contact info in case of any kind of this thing, whom to contact, or in case of complaints or emergency way to contact. Now, out of all of this, maybe one thing that could be omitted could be the product visuals, maybe not there, okay, and maybe the manufacturing thing, which they would have hidden it inside the QR code, okay, but rest all is almost a mandate. That's why a minimum of 8 is compulsory, average it is 10, and these 12 altogether. Okay, so everybody is clear. Now you have a very small little space, but you have to cover all of these 12 items into that small little space. So that's exactly where your design principles come in a big way as to how you are creating the right balance among all of these elements. How is your visual hierarchy that is going among all of these elements that the customer sees it in a very pleasing manner. So that is why design principles are very, very key in your packaging design. Yesterday also I was telling that's also important in logo design because how your logo works with the other elements. So please, please, please get your fundamentals right. learn the design principles very, very rightly. It is one thing that a lot of institutions miss it, but I recommend that you all go ahead and learn it. Okay. So yes, Shivani, the ingredients reading and all of these certifications and nutritional value have become much more important in today's time with all the kind of adulterated products that we are getting out in the market. I think this have now started to gain more awareness thanks to Food Pharma and a lot of other influencers who are trying to educate people to read labels. Okay, so again, coming back to design principles, why am I putting so many design principles? Because in packaging design, most of it go hand in hand with each other. You will have to create the right balance. You have to emphasize on the elements properly. You have to create the right contrast with the background and the foregrounds that you have. If there is any kind of repeating elements, you need to manage that also. There could be multiple of that. You need to have the right proportions, which one to keep big, small, all of that. Proper white spacing so that all the reading elements is very clear. Also, this is not compulsory. Like if you want, if you're having multiple flavors, then how to create that variety among all the three different flavors. And again, unity, like all of them looking of the same brand but are still different in terms of flavors. So it cannot be like I have a different flavor which looks entirely a different brand and another flavor entirely of a different brand. It cannot be like that, right? So it has to go hand in hand again. And most of the packaging designs use some or the other patterns in their backgrounds to make it seamless. So pattern is another thing. And lastly, the hierarchy. Okay, so you can notice there's almost 10 design principles go hand in hand. If not the 10 all, 8 will go hand in hand together. Okay, so most of these go hand in hand for any of the packaging designs that you do. Clear? So if you want to understand in depth about all these design principles, I have had a good 2 hour session on it, freely available on our YouTube channel. Go check them out. We have done with a lot of examples for each of it. Okay, so go do check it out. Understand them. These are very, very important for all your design career that you're going to build here onwards. Now, the psychology. Now, this is another important part of the packaging psychology, like how design influences buying decisions for people. Okay, so one, the color psychology works, the typography works, the shapes that you use also works a lot. Then the imagery that you have on your product packaging also makes a lot of impact. The texture of the product, like the materials that you're using, okay, that also makes a lot of impact. And then the presentation, whether you're presenting or projecting yourself as a minimal brand or a bold brand. Bold generally goes for youthful kind of brands, minimal goes generally for premium kind of brands for elite audience and all. And at the end of the day, whether you're trying to present like a mass thing which is inside a budget or for a limited crowd which is a premium product. So many of the clients, I'm telling you from real experiences, everybody will tell I need the best premium packaging. Okay, but the product MRP, okay, will be like 100 rupees. What premium packaging is he going to invest on this 100 rupees? Trust me, he doesn't have that budget. In that 100 rupees, okay, remember, he has to put marketing cost, okay, he has to put logistics, he has to put your printing cost, he has to put your design cost, and he has to put the shelf cost, and all of those costs, with his another profit margin of maybe 6 to 10% being his total profit. Net profit, I'm telling. Gross profit might be like 30 to 40%. Net profit might be 8 to 10% itself. Okay. So 100 rupees person is not going to heavily invest on printing and all of that, because as we go forward in the session today, you will understand a lot about printing as well. So remember, though he is going to tell premium, okay, just take those words. You try to do your calculations based on that. You try to design, because at the end, what you design has to get printed also. And if whatever you have designed, let's say you have put a lot of gradients with like this will be embossed, this will be laminated, your printing cost only will be 100 rupees per product, but his MRP itself is 100 rupees. How will it work? It will fail. And then the client will be like, hey, no, man, whatever you have designed is not working for me. The printing is telling 100 rupees. Please get that printing cost to 50 rupees. Do whatever he's telling. And then you will be like, man, I did a good design, premium design. Now I ended up doing a bad design. And this is the worst part as a designer, that you only have to make the good design and you only have to then make it even bad for it to just print in that particular budget. I'm telling you the ground realities. Okay. This is what happens. This is what happens. So Why am I telling all of these experiences? Because you can then save yourself from all of these mistakes and focus on the right way. So ask the right questions. What is the budget? What is the MRP? Okay. Understand that if this is your own brand and if you are selling the product, how would you take those decisions? Think like the consumer. Okay. Think like the consumer and think like the client yourself. And only then you will be able to crack it rightly. Let's go forward. Now coming to the hierarchy, how the content hierarchy goes. So always the first part on the top part is always the brand. Okay. Then the second thing is your product name. Okay. Then you will have the variant or the flavors. So let's say the brand is over here. If you see an example, Feel Fit is the brand. Okay. And the product name is Wheatgrass. Whatever is the variant, it's 100% natural or whatever superfood or any flavor or anything that I want to add. And then I'm trying to get the benefits. Okay, you can see benefits, all of them very clearly mentioned over here. Then the product image, if I can add. So this imagery is automatically there, which speaks for itself because it is wheatgrass. And then the supporting info, which is all of this. The supporting info, the nutritional value, the mandate manufacturing information. This is the space for sticking any kind of extra information that I have left it out, barcode and all of that, which we put over here. So that goes separately. Barcode printing doesn't come by default. You just need to leave the empty space. In that empty space is when the barcode gets printed separately, which is like over here. And then to contact or more information, you have that. You have the QR code. To know more about the product also, we have put another QR code. You have the quantity, MRP, manufacturing date, which will then separately get printed, and then you have the FSSI license, the Make in India logo, and the disclaimer of this product. But you can see the visual hierarchy and the typography balance among all of this. Okay. So variant is nothing but it could be variant or the flavor. Okay. Like wheatgrass, let's say lemon flavor. Okay. That could be the variant. Over here, I don't have any variants. I have rather highlighted the product only with a natural superfood, 100% natural. Nature superfood, 100% natural. That could be my variant or flavor or whatever I'm talking about. Okay, over here. So I'm just talking about the hierarchy. At the end of the day, you also need to note that we have to compulsory, as per the mandate, you need to have the veg non-veg icon, and you will also need to mention the net quantity or the grams. Okay, whether it could be 10 grams or it could be 120 or whatever. Now, considering this design is made for a bottle which is like a capsule bottle like this, in this the label will be stuck over here. So I do have a little bit of space left over here. But still, I've ensured that if this is the front face, even if there's a shelf which is higher, this is part which is not going to get visible. But my main information is clearly visible. Can you see? This was designed by me itself. But at the same time, also note the visual hierarchy of the text sizes. This is big, big, okay, little small, little more smaller. Then smaller than this is over here. Okay, then a little same size but in bold is over here. And then a little small in the nutritional values, and then manufacturing, and this is little important, so almost this font but in lightweights. Playing with font weight is very important. And then smaller to this is all this information, which is the last thing that a customer needs. Okay, so this is how you need to go. Okay, QR code scan areas also to be left blank and are printed separately. No, QR codes are printed default. So generally nowadays the technology has evolved. You put a standard QR code and you can keep changing the link of that QR code, redirecting to any other link. So you have got that technology in place. So the QR code is one and you can keep changing wherever you want that to redirect. So you don't have to make multiple QR codes or change the QR codes again and again. And remember one more thing, the customer is not just going to print like 100 labels or 200 labels. Okay, the quantity doesn't work like that. The minimum print quantity goes like 3000 and above. Okay, so this is the minimum print quantity of these labels. If you want to get it at a lesser price, you are okay to spend little extra or more, then you can even print 100 or 200 of them. Okay, so cost difference. Okay, 50% difference of cost. If let's say printing them 100 to 200, each of this label might cost me like say 4 rupees. Okay. And if I print 3000 and above, each of this label will technically cost me 1 rupee. Okay. That to 3000. If I go like 10,000 or like 50,000, okay, then these labels could come at a cost of 0.3 paisa. Okay. Depending on the quantity. With the volume, the price reduces. Okay. So why it happens like that? Also, I'm going to explain you very, very clearly. So stay till the end. You're going to learn a lot of stuff from reality. So till here, everybody's clear? Yes or no? All of you. Okay. Any questions so far? No, right? I hope I have kept it as clear as possible. Perfect. Now you can see over here, we have created variants. Okay. So I know that the bottle could have been rotated left, right randomly on the shelves. Okay. So either this part is visible like this, okay, if rotated, or this part is visible with little bit of this, okay, with one, two, three, four of this. So this is one option. But then later I realized, okay, no, these are also equally important because these are my main selling features. So I kept it at the bottom, making it much bigger so that person anyhow is going to read it or rotate it once. He will clearly read this five little items, which is a selling point for me, the USP. I'm clearly highlighting. Now you can see the difference. Which one will you prefer? This is option one, this is option two. You as a consumer, which one will you prefer? Everything else is same. The only difference is between this and this. Okay. See, everybody is going for two because you want the USPs to be very clear. You have like less than 10 seconds over there. Okay, I will be like, okay, pesticide free, pure and organic. And again, I played smartly. Okay, though I have five items only, I have covered 10 different USPs of the product. See how strategically I have played. One, pesticide free. Second, pure and organic. Third, gluten free, 100% vegan. GMO free, no preservatives. Cholesterol free, sugar free. Lactose free, no additives. I have indirectly, in using those circles, instead of putting 10 different circles, I have only used 5 circles and smartly covered 10 different USPs for the brand. Do you see how designing works? Yes or no? Otherwise, if I put icons for all of this, it would have become much more bigger. I don't have space. It's a limited space. Okay. So post this. Let's say you put it in the actual mockup. You will realize how your bottle is looking. Now this is the mockup that is created in Photoshop itself. Okay. Nowadays it has become much more easier with AI. Yesterday we did show examples in the Q&A session. Today I'll show it to you practically in today's session as well. So now you can see. Can I? Oh yes, this is mistake. Okay, so this part will go over here, but I was trying variations. Okay, I was trying variations, so just for that purpose. So yes, can you understand how the packaging works, how the hierarchy of contents is working? And now you can see, even if I put like this, even if let's say I place this product in shelf and I have a shelf, okay, which is covering like this much part, am I going to lose anything? No, right? Everything is still clearly communicated. Okay. So this is how you need to keep in mind. Another thing, the number of colors. Each color is a added cost. Yesterday also we discussed. How many colors do you see in my design? Entire design. It is just three colors. Three color print. Okay. One, it is a white color, which is not considered as a cost. Okay. The cream color, the green color, which is the lighter one, and another green, which is darker one. Okay. This now, if you notice, only because of this, I'm adding two more colors, orange and blue, which I will rather convert it to green only altogether and reduce my cost to a three color print. Okay. So if you see limited colors, but the output is still communicated, it looks pleasing to the eyes, it looks eco friendly, it talks about nature, it talks about natural, everything is covered. Clear? Another part. Same way, three color print, same product, but in a pouch format. Now see, in a pouch format, I had little bit of extra space. So how I have covered all of it? My front is kept like this. Okay. Even if I know that it is kept in the shelf, okay, I know that this could get covered. So I'm completely okay with this. But my USPs are highlighted over here. Okay. See how I have covered this nature superfood 100% natural in this format. And I have clearly used the image illustration upfront. Like what is it that you're going to get inside this pouch? It's nothing but a powder. Wheatgrass is a powder. Okay, very clear. Okay, and the brand is clear, the communication is clear, the product what you are going to buy is also very, very clear. The back side of it, which is the critical part to design in terms of aligning everything, you can see the neatness of it, like how everything is clearly readable and available, including the barcode and everything, and the brand name again over here, and the steps to use. Okay, you can see cut the sachet, add powder to the glass of water, stir the juice, ready to drink. Even in this size, what you're seeing on my screen, it is still readable. Okay, readability, another important factor of your packaging design. Okay, so these are the kind of things that you need to test it, you need to do it. Clear, everybody, so far? Can I go further? I hope you all are enjoying the session. Are you all learning, enjoying? Yes, no? There's a lot more for the day. We are going to have a lot more. Awesome, right? So far? Perfect. Let's go deep dive further. Now comes the important part, which is packaging terminologies. Up until now, you understood everything about okay how the look and feel works. Now let's go deep dive into the designing of these packaging and how you hand off your these files to the printers. Now this is where the critical part of terminologies come, which most of the institutions don't teach. If you specifically go and learn a packaging design course, maybe you will learn it properly, but don't worry, today we are going to learn it all, even more perfect than how others would teach. The first terminology is Dieline. Okay, it is called DIELINE. Now, what is a Dieline? At the end of the day, every printer who is going to print your packaging file along with your design is going to ask you for a Dieline file. Without this, your printing is not going to happen. Without your die line file, your design also will not be perfect. You will just be making random designs. Now, what is a die line file? And a die line file consists of multiple internal items, which as we go forward, we will understand. So let's understand that. A die line is a blueprint or a structural template of a package that shows exactly where the material will be cut, folded, and glued to create the final package. Designers use die line to ensure the artwork is placed correctly before sending it for production. Okay, so this is how your die line would be for the box itself. At the end of the day, you're designing on a flat screen, so whatever it is, it has to be flat. You're clearly mentioning which one is going to get tugged, which is your top panel, back panel, bottom panel, front panel, left panel, side panel, right panel, width, height, all of it. Now this die line file, this is a rough one. Okay, this is the final cutout die line file. But let's see what are all the inner items that come inside a die line file. Then comes the fold lines. Okay, so fold lines indicate where the packaging material will be bent or folded during the assembly. These lines help transform a flat printed sheet into a three-dimensional package without affecting the design placement, usually represented by dashed line. So now you see all these dashed lines. That means there is going to be a fold or a creasing would be created with the help of machine that okay, these are the areas I need to put a pressure of crease, and then you will then manually fold these areas. Okay, so this is how you need to represent your fold lines. Clear? Everybody is clear with the fold lines? Yes? If yes, then put a yes. Okay. So these are all parts of the die line file. Okay, so the outer part, the whole thing, entire thing is your die line file. Inside your die line file, you have this dotted lines, which are nothing but your fold lines. Even if you go to the previous image, you can see there are four dotted lines, which are nothing but the fold lines. Okay, where the paper would get folded and form this particular box. Clear? Then comes the cut lines. Okay, cut lines define the exact shape of the package and indicate whether the printer or die cutting machine will trim the material. Everything outside the cut line is removed during the production. So there might be a lot of other design that is outside this. That's completely fine. But you can see this blue color lines. These are your cut lines, and the red ones over here, they have used red lines for the folding. So this is your final cut lines, which is again part of your die line. Clear? Cut lines. Do you have clarity with the cut lines now? So generally, many printers will tell You have sent the die line, but I don't know the cut lines. Now, if you don't know what is cut lines and you have never learned about it, how will you provide it? Or the printer will tell, man, the fold lines are missing. And then you will try to figure it out yourself what are fold lines. So please remember all of these terminologies. Then comes the glue areas. Once the package is folded, there will be certain parts which you need to glue also, because nobody is going to manually glue them. Everything is automated with the help of machines. The glue is also going to automatically fall onto the package into the areas that you have specified. The glue will be there, and then there will be another machine which will just flip those, and the glue will automatically stick them. So everything is automated. So you also need to give the glue areas. So glue areas are the sections of the packaging that are used to join different parts together during the assembly. Since these are areas won't be visible after the packaging is folded, important design elements and textual elements should never be placed on them. Again, we make these mistakes many at times. We end up putting the logo here, logo here, logo here, thinking that, oh, it's okay, I'll just put the logo here so that my branding is covered. I have something else over here. But later, when you print it out and see the logo is missing, you only have your information. Okay, so you need to indicate yourself only with these kind of marks that this is the glue line. So now if you see the red lines, fold lines, okay, the outermost cut line, entire thing is the die line, and this is nothing but the glue areas. Clear? Can I go further? Let's go. Then comes the bleed. Now, a bleed is an extra area of the artwork that extends beyond your final cut line, usually around 3 mm on all sides. It ensures that after trimming, there are no unwanted white edges caused by slight cutting variations. So remember, all of this go in a bulk cutting, and sometimes there will be a 1 2 mm difference that happens in this cutting machines. Okay, nobody can be 100% precise unless you are going for this thing. So in the previous slide, what are these are the fold lines only. Fold lines. Maybe it is folding that way. We don't know. But no, it is not the fold lines. Let me go one step forward, you will understand. Okay? Let me go one step forward. So, what are bleed lines? It is nothing but you know that this is the area which will get folded. Okay? But you can see this part is coming little out, the cream part over here also. And then you can see over here also that this particular area, if I can zoom in, I don't know if I can zoom in. Yeah. Can you see this area? There is this blue color thing coming out. So white has been completely extended and not kept cut to cut, because even if there's a 1 2 mm difference, this color is still going to come in the edges, and that it will not create a white space over here if the cutting goes here and there. So that is called as the bleed. So you will purposefully have elements coming outside in the borders if you have any kind of color or background, so that you have the bleed maintained and your design is not affected. But extended backgrounds and images into the bleed area is what you will put. Never place text over there. You will never have text going outside these areas. Okay, don't try to put text. That's will go for a toss. So next thing is the safe area. Okay, so now you are asking, right, what is the black line? We are talking about the black line. So let's see. The safe area is the space inside the cut line where all the important content such as logos, text and icons should be placed. Keeping contents within this area prevents it from being accidentally trimmed during printing. Okay. So you can see this is the bleed, okay, which is the outside one. This black one is your cut. Okay. Then you have your another safety space, okay, which is this one, and you will try to put all your design inside this, all your textual elements. But if you have your image, let's say there is a circular image going, you can have all the way going out. Okay, so even if little bit of difference, it is still going to have entirely. So it is going to cut over here. So this is the part which is going to be clearly coming into your print edge to edge, this particular color or circle or image or whatever you put. Okay, so now you understood the safe area as well. Then comes the panels. With all of this, you also need to clearly mention and decide which one is your front panel, back panel, side panel, top panel, bottom panel. Because once the package is folded, entirely everything changes. And you need to keep this in mind while designing as well. Because what we might end up doing is we could put this logo in the straight format only. But you are seeing this, it is tilted and turned because this flap is going to get folded in that direction. So from that direction, it will come perfect. Okay, so you need to keep in mind all of that also. Which fold is going to go where? So how do I need to put the elements in that? It has to be part of your packaging itself. It cannot be turned later on, right? Imagine if this logo is turned other way around and put. What will happen? Your packaging design is gone for a toss. So having a clear example, that's why they always tell make a sample box, draw some random shapes, and then you see by opening it which one is going in which direction. Okay, understood? And these panels also you need to mention which one is side, top, upper, bottom, because otherwise they might think the bottom is top and they will do the folding accordingly. The entire creasing will go for a toss. So you need to mention that also very, very clearly. Now this is optional, but many at times it is good to provide. Now there is something called as crop marks. Now crop marks, these are all the different formats that they create, and this is nothing but the test marks, the color test marks. Okay. So these are nothing but the CMYK colors. Everything in printing goes in CMYK. Okay. What is the CMYK? What is RGB? Today again we will touch base a little bit as I go forward. But the crop marks are the marks that are added onto the page, and these are the guide marks added outside the artwork that indicate where the printed sheet should be trimmed. They help printers cut the artwork accurately to the final size. Okay. So this is how the crop marks would look like. I will show you practically in Illustrator as well how to add them. Now this is your final Dieline file. If you now see, everything is visible over here. This is your final die line. The entire outer green is your die line, and this black part is your cutting line. Then you have your bleed area, okay, which is this outside green line is your bleed area, because cutting line is this. So any color which is going edge to edge, you will put it from here to all the way inside. Okay. So when they cut this, so when they are cutting from here, okay, then still your color is edge to edge and there is no white space. Clear? Is everybody clear? What is bleed? Then you have your safety margin. This is your safety margin for your text and all of those important elements. Then you have perforation, which is nothing but your folding lines. Okay. Any kind of perforation that is to be done. Crease lines. Okay. Sorry. Crease lines are those green dotted lines as well. Again, safety margins, and red ones are your crease lines, the folding ones. Sorry. My mistake. And then this is the perforation, where like the paper is bended inside or outwards to create the perfect shape. So there's a perforation that is going to happen over here. Okay, and the glue areas. Now can you see how the file is entirely given? Previously, making this file only used to take hours. And this was the key part of packaging design, where it was the most difficult part, and most of the people used to fail over here. But software's evolved, okay, and then we have now got tools to create all of this, and now then there's a websites that have come into the market which can become easier. Okay, so can you tell about the perforation in depth? Perforation is nothing but let's say if you are covering your books, you imagine like you create a fold and then put it inside to create that angle, right? So that's the perforation. So basically this will get folded inward, this will get folded inward. Okay, perforation, and then this entire thing will get folded over here like this. So that's the perforation line. Clear? Okay. Another part, you will also need to give the measurements for it to test. Okay, because random measurement is just going to create random cutting lines. These measurements are also equally important. But nowadays, the printers have got advanced. Previously, not. Previously, everything, this all measurements had to be set manually for the cutting machines or creasing machines and all of that. Now, they just give this two colors, red dotted color and the blue color. This blue color is nothing but your cutting line. Okay. And your red color is nothing but the folding. So for the printer, this is nothing but creasing. Okay, it's called the creasing line also. So that's all. This is what final file that you give to your printer. Your artwork will be printed separately. This will be given to another machine, will be feeded with all of these values of the folding, creasing, and cutting. And then that printed sheet will go in that particular machine. A die will fall, a metallic plates or lasers will fall on it, create those cutouts, and create those creases. Everything happens within minutes. Okay, that's how the entire thing works. Clear so far? Can I go a little further? Yes, everybody, are you all enjoying? Lot of information for the day? Okay, perfect. So, also please tell sir what format is good experience designer should give to the. Everything is covered, Harsh. Don't worry. Just stay till the end. Okay, just stay till the end. One more time explain. Okay, finally. Let's explain one more time. This is your bleed area, the outermost green. Okay. What does bleed area mean? That means, let's say, I will explain you with practical in Photoshop, in Illustrator once again. So, any design, let's say I have a red color going from here and then another red color going in this edges, and maybe the logo is here. Now, because if I put it edge to edge until the black line, if even a printer goes 1 mm outside for cutting, what happens is there will be a small little white, thin white line visible in your printing if you put it edge to edge of this cut line. So we purposefully make this red color go out. Okay. So it's completely till here, red color. All of this is red color. Now, if the person cuts over here, even if the goes 1 mm this side or 1 mm this side, you will still have edge to edge of that red color. So that is the purpose of the bleed. Okay. That means the artwork is extended little outside so that even if the cutting goes little here and there, the bleed is maintained. I will show you practically in Illustrator right now itself. Don't worry. Then comes your cutting line where the final file will be cut following these guides. Then you have this dotted lines, which is your safety margin. So you need to have all of this text or visual elements inside this. Then you have perforation where the things will get folded inwards. And then you have the entire red line, which is for folding of your box. And then the glue areas, which would get glued. Okay. Clear, everybody? Okay. So I meant just giving SVG of Dieline may look unprofessional and cheap. So tell us how to give and what should be the delivering. Don't worry, everything is covered, Harsh. I will come to it. Just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. Perfect. Now packaging design mistakes. What are the mistakes that people do most of the time? Too much of information. They try to cover too much of information. Oh, 1 second. Yeah. So they either try to put too much of information, bad hierarchy, which I explained you, unreadable fonts, which we experienced, low contrast also, which we experienced because if the light falls on the product and your entire thing is not visible or not contrasting right, then it's gone for a toss. Wrong color choosing, poor spacing, poor alignments, poor imagery, cheap mockups. Okay, so if you are creating cheap mockups for your client visualization, you client will be like, I'm not liking it. The reason of not liking was not your actual design, it's because you just didn't present it rightly. And lastly, ignoring all your print limitations, which is all these die-line files and your other costs that will get added in printing. As we go forward, we will understand. Okay, so these are the mistakes that you should avoid, that generally people end up doing. And now that you know what to avoid, you also know what to keep in mind. A simple logo. Okay. Now let's see some examples. Tropicana, old one. Then they modified their design to this one. Okay. Have you all seen this before? Yes or no? Everyone. Old to new. No. Correct? Why? Because they did this and their sales dropped 70% less. If let's say the sales over here was good 100%, at whatever it would be, let's say they are selling 10,000 units a day, here it dropped it and it became to just 700 units a day. Okay, because it was one of the famous branding failures. It's studied as a case study as well, because no more people could connect that this is an orange. Nobody understood it was a sideways placed orange peel, which was like orange cut half, and that entire thing plays in sideways. But if you put it in the front positioning, you know what is happening. Okay, what could happen. And with that, also in 2009, they completely redesigned this orange juice packaging by removing the iconic orange with the straw visual and replacing it with a minimalistic design. So this is what it was known for. People were buying with this image in mind. Okay, the orange with the straw, just pick it up, and Tropicana very clear. They even changed the logo altogether. Tropicana also changed. People thought this was some duplicate brand that came into the market. They tried to change the behavior of the people. So remove the recognizable orange image, change the typography, change the bottle cap design. Tropicana had this very well-known cap design. They changed that also. Okay, reduce the self-recognition. And what happened? Sales dropped 20% within 2 months. The company lost an estimate $27 million in sales. The redesign was quickly withdrawn and original packaging was brought back. Okay. Clear, everybody, how it all works? So, changeover of packaging also is a big makeover. Same thing, somebody already told about Diet Coke. Yes, that's another example. It was known like this. They tried to change the font and everything altogether to this with like just new Coke. People thought it's some new fake brand that has come into the market. And Coca Cola, new Coke featuring new formula with refreshed packaging. Okay, to modernize the brand competitive with Pepsi. While the packaging itself wasn't the main issue, it became the visual symbol of the product that consumers didn't want. What changed? Introduced a new Coke formula with Pepsi, competing with Pepsi. Redesigned the packaging with bold new label and updating the branding. Okay, replace the Coca Cola with the new version instead of offering it as an alternative. Okay, so what happened? Consumers rejected the new product almost immediately. Coca Cola received almost 4 lakh plus complaint letters and phone calls. The backslash became one of the biggest marketing failures in history. All after just 79 days, Coca Cola reintroduced the original formula as Coca Cola Classic. Okay, it was another funny part. Okay, in this case study, it was the same formula which was inside this, but people thought this had more sugar, this had more this thing, and everything just because people perceived it altogether as a new product. So, another bad example of redesign. Now, let's come to some good examples of redesign. This was the old classic lace and it got little bit of transformation but maintained most of the hierarchy in the logo. If you see, the same circle is there, but they have minimized it. Okay, made it more minimalistic, and they have added that lemon flavor or potato flavor. Lace in the same font, but made it more minimal. And classic highlighted better, real potatoes highlighted better, and then they've added the same potato peel like the from real potato transitioning to the chips which will look like this. Okay, and this worked well and the sales increased. Okay, so you can see redefined and modernize the lace logo, replace the plain yellow background with real potato imagery and textual visuals, and then improved typography, increase the product photography to make the chips more appetizing, created a more premium contemporary look by maintaining brand recognition, improved shelf appeal, created consistent packaging in global markets, made it easier to identify all the flavors, reinforced Lay's position as modern premium snack brand without losing its familiar identity. One more example of Mirinda, you can see over here, old Mirinda and the new Mirinda. I think most of you have seen this. It was very much recently covered on social media and a lot of this brands. Very good redesign from lot of clutter to lot of simplicity and a lot of change. Introduce a larger and bolder M graphic in the as a central visual element. Simplified the background by removing the blurry swirl pattern. Increase the white space for cleaner and more modern appearance. Enhanced orange slice illustrations to reinforce the fruit flavors. Improved typography and hierarchy for better readability on the shelves. And what happened? Improved self visibility through clear and bolder design, better product recognition across different variants, created more consistent visual identity across global markets, strengthened Mirinda's youthfulness and energetic brand image. So, all of it just with, you can see almost the same things, but the amount of redesign that has happened and the brand has leveraged out of it. Very recent in 2026. If you don't know, you can just go check it out. Entire new branding of Mirinda. You will get a lot of good insights. It's all available on internet for free. With that, pre-press checklist. That means before sending your print files to printer, what are the things that you should check? Ensure that whatever you're designing is in the CMYK file format. Okay. All your images that you're using inside your file, which is inside Illustrator, has to be embedded. All the fonts that you have used should be outlined. Okay, because if the printer opens the file and he doesn't have that font in his system, trust me, that thing is going to mess it up and it's not going to come the way you have designed it. So that's why always outline your text, add proper bleed, add proper safe margins, have the correct resolution, always give it as a PDF as the first preference. Second preference that most of the printers ask is for CDR, which is nothing but Corel Draw. Okay. But keep in mind that even the PDF file can, which is made and saved from Illustrator, can directly open in Corel Draw and the problem is solved. So it's not necessary that you need to make it in Corel Draw. So you can make it in Illustrator or any other tool, but always save it as a open file format PDF, editable PDF. Okay. Have proper crop marks, have all your packaging items linked. Okay. Like in a proper folder, have the bleed file separate, the Dieline file separate, and your print file separate. Have all of that properly in folder. Lastly, do the proper spell check. Take out 3 sample printouts, give it to 10 people, okay, and get them checked. We miss out many of those errors that we do. Okay. End customer is only the one who can point it out. What if the fonts are flattened or vectorized? Yes, that's exactly what. All the fonts or the text has to be flattened or vectorized. Okay, they cannot be in the editable text format. And the shortcut for that in Illustrator is Control Shift O. One click, everything is outlined. Okay, but another important part. Uh, I will explain. I will explain. We will go directly into Illustrator. I'll show all of this practically. Don't worry. All you have to do is sit along with me for next one hour more. Okay? Are you all having that patience? Yes or no? Everybody? Perfect. Let's go further. Okay? Before I jump into Illustrator, let me complete everything about print as well, so that then everything in one go, I will go into the Illustrator. Are we ready? Okay. So now we understood so far everything about packaging design. We understood all the technical terminologies. We understood what are the file formats we have to give them in. We understood which format and what are the things that we have to avoid and everything of packaging. Okay. So now we will go to printing part. Harsh, don't worry. We will cover that some other time. I have solutions for that also, so don't worry. We will do that. You can reach out to me in my personal WhatsApp, or you can ask that in the discussion group as well. Printing, digital colors, all that we design in our digital mediums, which is either for our desktops, mobile phones, laptops, smartwatches, televisions, TVs, tablets, etc. They all work in the RGB mode. All the colors on them are created using the red, green, and blue. Okay. Now, print colors are different. They are CMYK. K stands for black. It is the last letter K. Okay. They did not use B because B stands for blue. Okay. So coming to cyan, magenta, yellow, black are the print colors that we use across all the printing mediums. If you notice in your newspapers, you will always see these marks. Okay. In the newspapers. Okay, these are nothing but the print test. They randomly can check the bundle. If the 4 colors are printed successfully, that means the entire paper has been printed successfully. At any given point, if they have found that any of this color is not properly printed, they know that this batch of printing has got an issues. Maybe the ink got over, or ink got changed, or ink got refilled, or whatever. Maybe the reason they will reject that bundle. So every bundle of 100 to 500 or whatever is the size that the printing press manages, they check it. They just check any of the paper and check the print marks. Another bundle, they check the paper, they check the print marks. Okay. So even if you don't have not seen it, just go grab any newspaper, you will find these marks on the paper. Okay. So they are nothing but CMYK. Color gamut. Now let us understand this. This is very important in your packaging design or any kind of designing that you're going to do for print. Digital is very easy. You can play with all the gradients, all the fancy elements and everything. But in print, one, every color is an added cost and there are limitations with colors. So if you see, this is the entire color wheel of colors or the vibrancy of the colors that our human eye can see, visible. Okay. Visible to the human eye. Out of all of this particular yellow triangle is that triangle is of colors which we can create with RGB mixtures. Okay, RGB, red, green, and blue. And this is the only triangle that we can create in the print, which is a mixture of CMYK. Okay. So with now you can see the difference. This green from here cannot be printed as it is. It will end up coming to this green. Okay. So that's the difference in print. So if you would have designed in RGB, which is this green, it would end up printing like this. You would have taken this blue, but the blue would come something like this. You would have end up taking this particular red, but it would have come as pink in print. You would have faced it in the past also. You have taken red color, but when you printed it, it looks like pink or orange. Have you all faced this issue? Yes or no? Any one of you? Yes, right? Many of you have faced it. That's because your print input was RGB, but printer prints in CMYK. It tries to convert that RGB to the nearest CMYK, and whatever is the output is the output. These are the cartridges of your printer. If you have a printer at your house or if you have seen or used before, there will be two cartridges, one of black and one of those other three colors, which is cyan, magenta, and yellow. You will have individual bottled ink printers that you have nowadays. Also have this four little bottles that you refill your printer with. So going forward with the color gamut, what do you see? RGB, CMYK. See the difference? This is how the RGB colors would come out, but this is how the CMYK would look like. And what you see, but what gets printed, you can see the difference in the shade and tones over here. Can you see the difference? This blue, this blue, this blue, this blue, this violet, this violet. This is what will happen. So always choose the colors, the document file type as CMYK when you're designing anything. I'll show it to you practically, don't worry. This is how your RGB picture might be, but when you print it, you can see the depth is lost. The color difference on the fur over here and the fur over here, you can notice it. At the same time, you can see in this green area and this green area. Okay. So isn't it a subjective choice of RGB or CMYK? No. Anything that goes in print will always be in CMYK. Why CMYK and all also? Because the colors that we are creating over here are by mixtures of yellow, magenta, cyan, and black. But the colors that we are creating over here are with the mixtures of RGB, which is nothing but the LED bulbs which we are illuminating in different ratios. But the same colors cannot be created with the mixtures of these colors which are available. Okay. So anything that you are creating for print, there is no choice. You will have to create in CMYK. Same thing. If you give this image, when it gets printed, you can see the entire that vibrancy of that image is gone a little dull. Okay. So that's the difference that happens. But if you start designing anything in CMYK and then you print, whatever you see on your system is what will come in your print as well. So whatever you design on your printer or your system with CMYK color mode is the exact output that you can expect. RGB versus CMYK, you can see the difference that has come. Now, let us understand a little bit about pixels. Okay, this is very, very important, and about sizes. Okay, are we ready? I hope you all are awake, wide awake, sitting along, trying to grasp as much as knowledge as possible. Perfect. So, what is a pixel? Okay, a pixel is nothing but an inch. Inside 1 inch of a 1 inch, okay, there are sub pixels or sub boxes which are having three little lights of RGB, digital pixels. We are talking about digital pixels. Pixels are always in the digital world, okay. And then there is something called as DPI, okay, which is called as dots. In digital world, it is called PPI, which is pixels per inch. Okay, so let's understand. So pixels are the smallest unit in a digital display. Up to millions of pixels make up an image or a video on the device screen. Each pixel comprises of sub-pixel that emits a red, green, and blue RGB color, which displays at different intensities. The RGB color components make up the gamut of different colors that appear on a display of your computer monitor. Okay, so let me take you one more step further. Now, this is your entire pixel, and each pixel is divided into 1 inch. Now, in each inch, if you call it a 72 PPI, that means there are 72 of those red, green, blue boxes, which is like this. So I'm zooming it over here on the right side inside 1 inch. If you tell 300 ppi, okay, that means pixels per inch. Okay, in that 1 inch there are 300 of RGB illuminating dots like this. Okay, this is how your pixels work. And it is how the pixels are calculated. Multiplying the horizontal and the vertical together will create the pixel ratio altogether. That's why we tell my phone is 1080 pixels. Okay, it is 1080 pixels, but you can always multiply 1080 into 1080, which is nothing but some millions of RGB nodes that you have. Okay, so now again, understanding what is PPI and DPI. The number of pixels is calculated by multiplying the horizontal and vertical measurements. Okay, for example, HD has 1080 horizontal pixels, 1080 vertical pixels, which totals to 11,064,000. Sorry, 11,64,400 pixels altogether. Clear? Everybody? How pixels work? So pixels per inch. 300 ppi means in that 1 inch there are 300 pixels. Inside this 1 inch there are 300 dots like this of RGB. Each dot, one dot is divided into RGB, and each of these illuminate based on the requirements. Now, do you think our paper on which we print or the materials we print, do they have LED bulbs to illuminate like this? No, right? That's why they are in DPI, which is dots per inch, which is also works in the same format. Okay, but they are no illuminating this thing, but we are trying to put that level of ink with the help of our technology. As in an inch there are 300 of dots that it has to sprinkle, and that's how the color is formed automatically. What would happen if I take 72 ppi? It will, in that 1 inch it will only put 72 dots, which might look like this. And if I take 150, it might look little like this. Okay, but if I take 300, it will be like this. Which one will stand out better? 72, 150 or 300? Can you tell me? Everyone. 1, 2, 3. 300 automatically, right? So that is how the entire printing works. Now I'll take you a little bit more deep dive. Let's go. You can see this inside a microscope. This is your mobile screen inside a microscope. You can very clearly see how RGB dots are inside 1 inch. This is just inside 1 inch. We are zooming inside 1 inch. You can find many more videos live on YouTube. This is a real thing. Okay. So one should ask, in what DPI or PPI the printer is printing before sending the final file. Anything that is created on system, by default it is PPI. Anything that is printed, it becomes DPI. Dots per inch, pixels per inch. The values don't change. It's only the terminology that changes. Okay. But why that matters, I will show it to you when we enter into the software mode practically. We might have to extend a little bit of time. I hope you all have that time. Trust me, whatever I'm covering this, you might not get it on internet that fast. I've tried to put a lot of experiences of learning into that one session that I'm doing today. Okay. So you can see pixels if zoomed in, how it would work, and dots when printed, how it works. Okay. Clear, everybody? Pixels and dots, the difference. Pixels are in squares, dots get sprinkled as round circles by the printer. Now, this is where the entire thing comes into. When you're creating your new file in Illustrator, Photoshop, whichever it may be, you put your size. This is the size area. This is where it is asking the resolution. You can see pixels inch. Whether you want 300, 150, 72. Based on the resolution, your file size also increases or decreases. Then the very next thing, color mode, RGB or CMYK. Then it is asking the bit of it. What does this bit mean? We will cover as we go forward. Okay, so these are the areas that define your document for your print. Okay, rest all is of no use. Rest all is leave it. It's for digital purpose. We are talking focusing on printing. Your size, your orientation, horizontal, vertical of this size, resolution, the most important. This pixels per inch always. Color mode, even more important, and the bit. Okay. So what is a bit? Difference between 8-bit and 16-bit. Again, it's nothing but the color depth. How much of depth of color, the spacing between those dots. Okay, so one more level deeper. I know that I'm putting 300 dots in that 1 inch, but how close those each 300 dots should be? Multiplied by 8 or multiplied by 16? If it is 8-bit, this is how the colors will look like. Okay, but if it is 16-bit, because they are printed even more closely, dense, this is how it looks like. You can see this gradient 8-bit, but you can see these lines between. Many a times you print gradients, you will see these lines in your paper also. Because your file was always 8-bit. You never understood how to solve it. But as you go and change your file into a 16-bit and then you print it, your gradient will come perfect in printing also. You will not notice this particular difference in your digital screens because digital screens can render it properly. Okay, so even an 8-bit one will come perfect on your digital screens, but when you print it is when you will see these lines in them. That's when you need to understand that my resolution is right, my color mode is right, then maybe I have messed it up with the bit part. So I had to take a 16-bit one to get it fully right. Okay, clear? So a 8-bit image shows about 16.7 million colors, good enough for web and simple prints. 16-bit images can show up to 281 trillion colors, offering more detail and wider range of colors, ideal for high quality prints and detailed editing. Clear, everybody? So now you understood the bit also. So you understood the color mode, you understood the bit, you understood the resolution. So always and always note it down. Whatever you are taking the size, units are very important. Okay, centimeters, feet, or everything. Resolution, the first priority. Okay, pixels per inch is default, but still the second priority. Priority number 0, like even before 1. Okay, is your color mode. It has to be CMYK if you are printing it. If it is for digital purposes, no problem. But if you are printing it, you design it in RGB by mistake, your design is gone for a toss. Okay, and the bit, if you are going to print it, directly make it to 16-bit. Okay, clear, everybody? If we increase the resolution, then let's say you are taking the size but you put 600 resolution. Okay, many people do this. You can do it, but you will face a problem that your system will not be able to save the file only, because system is not able to accumulate so much data in pixel format only. Your file will crash. Your file will not get saved only. With great difficulty, even if you save that file, which is like perfect, you did that work, you give it to the printer software will not be able to open that file or render that file, because it is trying to render so many pixels in that 1 inch. That's because printer is not going to use a high-end system like you. He works on a basic 16 GB RAM. Okay, max to max, that too I'm telling. Most of the printers will be on 8 GB, guys. Okay, max to max, some printers on 16 GB. You will be working on 32 GB RAM or 64 GB RAM. Okay, but not everybody has access to it. So always stick to 300 resolution. It is more than enough. Okay, let's go forward. There's a lot to cover, guys. I hope we all have time, because I put in a lot of efforts to get all of this info to all of you. Perfect. So image resolution, we understood. So 72 DPI, 150 DPI for large and formal viewing, 300 DPI for professional printing standards. I'm not reading all of this, but if you're creating anything for websites, social media posts, digital advertisements, email banners, presentations, all of that has to be in 72 DPI. Okay. Coming up to all your printing of small print items like posters, roll up banners, event standees, exhibition graphics, outage signers, and all of that, 150 DPI. Because all these are from far off viewing, they are not near viewing. But anything which is closer to the eyes, which has to be very crystal clear and crisp, okay, then you have to go for 300 DPI, like business cards, brochures, flyers, packaging design. Clear how to select which kind of DPI to go with? I hope that is more clear for all of you. Perfect. Let's go one more step forward. Coming to the same topic which we covered yesterday also. So I will just brush this up a little fast. Raster versus vector. Anything that you create in Illustrator by default is a vector file format. All the paths or graphics are mathematically calculated, and even if you zoom them to any size, they will not blur. Whereas anything that you create in Photoshop by default is a raster object, and even if you start to zoom them, how much of a big size, but at a point after zooming, they will get pixelated. So that's a raster graphics. And a vector graphics doesn't get blur. In yesterday's session, I've covered this deeply, so I can just skip this part. Coming to the file formats, anytime that you give to your printer, which one will you prefer? Raster or vector? Come on, I need answers today. You can answer one or two. Okay, maybe that becomes easy. Vector, v. Yes, correct. So always try to give it in vector. But I have made a packaging design. Inside it, I have an orange fruit logo image. Will that image be vector or raster? The image, even if the orange image, if I add it into Illustrator, it is always going to be a raster image. But I need to ensure that this image that I have is of a higher resolution of 300 ppi and a big size, which will not get blurred in print, which at 100% of the size is crystal clear. Okay. On zoom of this packaging design, everything else might be vectorized, which will scale. This might start to get blur, which is okay. But maximum try to have elements which are vector. Avoid raster. But there sometimes in packaging design, there's no option. You will have to put a water wave or sprinklers or those kind of things which cannot be created in vector. Then you will have those raster objects, but you need to ensure that they are in good 300 ppi resolution. And how do we embed them and all of that? I will show it to you practically. Okay, don't worry. I won't go into the differences of raster versus vector. Yesterday I've covered it all. So let me skip this. Now let's come to the another important part of the types of printing. You have designed everything successfully. You have made your packaging design. You have followed all the PPI, DPI, resolution, everything. Now, what is the kind of printing that you should go for? And how does this entire printing thing works? Are we excited for this? Everybody? Yes or no? Yes? Perfect. So now, for the printing thing, first one is the digital printing, which is again, that doesn't mean that digital word came, that means that this will be RGB printing. No. Any printing is always CMYK. You can see black ink, cyan, magenta, yellow. Okay. So, but the difference over here is all of these colors, digital printing transfers artwork directly from the digital file to the printing surface without the need of printing plates. Now, what are printing plates? As we go forward, we will understand. It is ideal for small printing runs, quick turnaround times, and personalized printing. Okay. It is best for business cards, brochures, flyers, stickers, or short run packaging. Okay. That means whatever you're printing, if it's for a very small quantity, you can directly go with the cartridge type of printing. With so what happens over here, these are the nozzles directly from this CMYK nozzle, just like a printer that you have in the house. Okay, those colors will sprinkle as per the dots and it will get printed. Now, this type of printing is the costliest in terms of bulk. When you go for bulk quantities, like if you want to go for 3000 of this, each sheet of print, each sheet of A3, okay, let it be one copy, two copy, or whatever it may be, they consider per sheet price. One A3 sheet price cost 18 rupees. one side, multiplied by 2 for dual side. Okay, in this kind of digital printing, because the ink usage is more, because it is sprinkling those inks and it is sprinkling in those 300 DPI, the ink usage is a lot. Okay, because it is programmatically sprinkling all those colors, and that is called as digital printing. But it is very fast, like you go instantly, okay, you got the work done, but your cost is only high. Then comes the second type of printing, offset printing. Offset printing uses metal plates to transfer ink onto a rubber blanket before printing on a paper. It offers excellent color accuracy, consistency quality, and becomes highly cost effective for large quantities. So now let us understand all of this a little bit in depth, because you need to learn. Tomorrow you are going to, even if you don't do any kind of printing, this knowledge is going to be helpful. And I'm sure down the line you will end up going to a printing press. And if you don't know what kind of printing to give it for, you're going to make a lot of mess. Then printer can just play around with you, sir. This is costly, this is this, and he will make you a fool and he will charge you extra price. Printer is happy, you are happy, but printer made more money than you. That's why printers at times make more money than the designers. Remember that. Because designers don't have the knowledge and the client any which ways has no knowledge. But if the designer has all the knowledge, the printer cannot fool you. At the same time, you can guide your client, build trust over here. Sir, I have saved you so much of the printing cost. Now give me the next project, but it will be charged extra. You can indirectly charge extra, you will be more than happy to give it to you. Okay? They will accept. Everything boils on the quantity. Okay. So now coming to the offset printing, what happens is there are plates or stencils that are created with the graphics that you have. Okay. So whatever is your graphics, that plate is created. And then there are this kind of rubber inks, okay, on through which the color gets passed on this plate, and below the plate is the paper that is passing. And so whenever that rubber presses on it, that thing gets printed, and the final output is having that same graphic whatever was created on this stencil. Okay, so this is how the offset printing works. Best for books, magazines, catalogs, packaging boxes, and bulk marketing material. Now when it comes to books, imagine a book has 300 pages. Okay, each page is a separate metal plate altogether that they have to create. Okay, so they have to create those 300 plates because they are going to print almost 5,000 copies of the entire book. Okay, so 300 plates once, but that plates are your asset. Remember that in printing, all of these metal plates and your cylinders, as I go forward, I'll explain you. These are your assets. The printer will always give it to you if you ask it. You don't ask it, printer is just going to throw it away after the order is over. Better you ask it and keep it with you, so that down the time, again when you want to go for a new 5,000 rupees order, you can directly hand off those plates to any of the offset printer and you can get the work done. You are going to, because plate making is also a cost. It's a one time cost, but it's a cost. Okay, later on, let's say out of this 300 pages, a new revision of the book, maybe 10 pages you are changing, so you need to just change those 10 plates and you have all of it again ready to print. So that's how the offset printing works. Explaining you in much more detail. So these are the ink rollers, okay, the rubber rollers from which the ink passes, okay, and then over here are those cylinders which are nothing but the plate cylinders. You can see. So in some, the plate is either in squares, but nowadays the technology has improved and they go in circular cylinders. And you can see the cylinder, how it is. The entire thing is engraved with laser in an inverted format. So these rollers, they take the ink, they pass it on, and then they, as they roll, it will print on the paper, and the paper will go out and get rolled. So this is the paper reel. And then once they print out, they'll go further into the cutting and all of that. So this is how from the top they will put the inks, from the bottom also. Again, CMYK, four colors of the colors. Now, based on this, all of the design of the plate will happen or the cylinder will happen, and that is what gets feeded. Next comes the screen printing. I'm sure you would have seen this in a lot of printing presses or if you have passed by on the roads as well. Screen printing pushes ink through a fine mesh stencil onto the printing surface, applying one color at a time. It produces vibrant, durable prints and works well on variety of materials beyond paper. It's best for t-shirts, tote bags, bottles, signages, promotional merchandises, and specifically specialty packaging, like custom packaging which cannot be done in printing. So that's exactly where screen printing comes. How it works: for each color, a stencil is created, and then that particular color is passed from it manually using the hand. Okay, this is how it works. So you can see over here, this is the scraper, this is the ink, this is the screen of W. The person will scrape this, and in the paper, that W got printed as an output. So you can see over here, the person puts the paper, screens it, and then takes it out. This is the thing that came from the screen. So this is how the screen printing works. It's completely hand and manually done. It doesn't work with machines. And it is also the cheapest solution. Okay. Going one more step further, flexo printing or flexographic printing. What happens over here is flexographic printing uses flexible rubber or polymer printing plates that rotate on cylinders to print at high speeds. It's widely used for printing on flexible packaging materials like plastic fillings, labels, and corrugated boxes. Now, what happens? Plastic is a very smooth surface. If they put a metal cylinder, ink can slide or the plastic can slide, so the thing will get smudged or it might get scrubbed a little bit. But rubber against that plastic material or that smooth software will not smudge. It will create friction. So they use rubber kind of cylinders over here. So rubber plates or polymer plates, fiber polymer kind of plates, in which this engraving is done, and then the colors pass on this, and then that gets printed into the object. So you can see over here, so this is the ink supply. From this ink supply, it is going to the printing plate, which is nothing but a rubber plate, and from this rubber plate it is going to the impression cylinder, which is nothing but your paper inside which the impression is getting added. So this blue color ink is finally coming on top of the paper. Are you all understanding? Best for food packaging, pouches, labels, plastic wrappers, and cartons. So this is how the entire flexographic printing works. You have different types of cylinders. You can see the cylinder over here, ink. This is a cylinder, passing that, taking that ink, passing it to this particular cylinder, which is nothing but having the graphic. From this, it will go to this one and then print it on this one. Okay, one by one. So this is nothing but color passing to this, and then this one printing on this. Okay. So that's called flexographic printing or flexo printing also. Let's go further. Large format printing, most widely used, is nothing but the billboards, banners, posters, exhibition displays, vinyl wraps, and retail signages, because these are very huge. Designed to produce oversized graphics with high resolution on materials like vinyl, fabric, canvas, and foam boards. It's commonly used where visibility from a far distance is important. Okay. And these printers look something like this. They have the same nozzles of CMYK, which you can see over here: black, cyan, magenta, yellow. Okay. And it is printing like nozzles. Now, what is the difference between the digital printing and this large format printing? Okay. Over here, what happens is the things are not sprinkled. It goes line by line. Okay. Like in the digital printing, it sprinkles. Okay. The nozzles are made in such a way. But over here, it doesn't sprinkle. It goes line by line, just dropping the exact colors that are required. It doesn't sprinkle. That's the only difference. In the digital printing, it sprinkles. This one doesn't sprinkle. The way it works is all the same. As it is printing, it is getting rolled into that because it's a very big sheet. Majorly, like let's say all the hoardings that you see outside, 40 feet by 40 feet, those are the ones. Now coming to the another important topic. Okay. Print finishes. So after the main printing is done, people opt for different kinds of finishes. Like you can go for spot UV, which is nothing but adding a clear glossy coating, which is nothing but like a plastic coating that you add on top of your artwork. It creates a contrast, draws attention to important design elements such as logos, patterns, or product names. Okay, so you can see that. Okay, and you can see the output how it shines in the spot UV. So only in that particular spots that kind of film is added, and it does it. Then coming to the foil stamping, where the foil, which would be a silver foil or a gold foil or a copper foil, which is stamped into it to create that holographic effect and to give that elegance and exclusivity. Okay, I'm sure you would have seen this before. Going furthermore, you have embossing effect. So again, a cylinder or a plate is created to create that emboss, and then that is rolled onto your cards or any of your printing material, and that emboss is then created. Then comes debossing also. Instead of that emboss, you are putting an invert depth, which is debossing. So these technical terms is what you need to know and what is the output of that. Then you have lamination, which is nothing but entire sheet is laminated with a plastic coating to protect from water, moisture, scratches, fingerprints, wear and tear, and all of that. And then you have the soft touch lamination, which like gives a textured matte finished surface, smooth velvety texture. It not only looks luxurious but also creates a memorable tactile experience, the feel, the touch and feel of those boxes and materials. And then you have the varnish effect also, like a transparent coating of varnish is printed on the surface to make it look like a lamination, but it is not lamination. It is much thinner than the lamination, where it can be applied throughout the entire sheet, which also helps you protect from water and all of that. But it is a little costlier than the lamination. So these are all the insights about printing. Clear everybody so far? Now we will jump into practicalities. We have good 15-20 minutes and I'll show you all of it in practical so that you have the complete picture of all of it. Yes? Okay, so let me quickly have some water, load my Illustrator in the meantime, and then we will just have that going. Okay, I'm back. Uh, yes, I'm done with the water. I have opened Illustrator. Let me now close a few things. Just give me a minute. Okay, I'll again start sharing my screen. Uh, 1 second. Okay, just confirm if my screen is visible to all of you. Yes or no? Everybody. Okay, perfect. So I'll start with the basics again. New file. You can see this is the screenshot that I have added. Let's say I want to create a business card. I'm taking the size because I already know the size. I'll put in centimeters. Okay, I'll take it as 9.2 by 5.4. That is the size. So width is 9.2 and height is 5.4 and in centimeters. Okay. Now later if you change to mm, please trust me, it won't maintain the same mm. It will convert these values into those. Okay. So it became 92 by 54 mm. It just converted. Okay. So don't do that. And now this is nothing but the bleed area, the safe region if you want to have it. Here I don't want to do it. I'll rather do it in my document manually. Transparent background for my document. Color mode. I can have RGB or CMYK. Let's take CMYK. Raster effects or print resolution, which is 300 PPI by default. You can see everything we have set as per the requirements. Okay, and then click on create. So now the document has been created. Over here, let us understand few of those. items. Okay. The first thing that I want to explain all of you is all about the sizing, which I forgot explaining. Can somebody tell me if we have to take a 40 feet by 40 feet hoarding, what size will you put over here? Or how will you take it? What will you do? Let's say you have to print it for 40 feet by 40 feet. Can somebody guide me? This is one of the biggest mistake. We have a standee 6 feet by 3 feet. How will you take it? Okay, Suresh told me 40 inch by 40 inch, but we are printing 40 feet by 40 feet, right? I'll go in inches. Three of them are telling I'll go in inches. So you will convert whatever is in feet to inches. Is that so? You will convert that to mm. Okay. So let's understand all of these. Okay. So flex, inch. Okay. Well, I'll explain you. So these are the things that you all need to learn today. Whatever is your feet. Okay. Let's say I'm going by 40 feet by 40 feet. Okay. I can, if I take feet over here, okay, if I put 40 by 40, okay, you can see over here, first of all, the artboard is too large and that Illustrator cannot even create this dimension. Okay. So you cannot convert that size and actually make the artboard also. It will not accept. Okay. And let's say even if I put this 40 feet by 40 feet and then convert it to inches, 480 inches by 480 inches cannot be done in Illustrator. Okay. So max Illustrator in size is I think 60 inches or something, or 227 inches. That's the max size of 227 inches. But we are asking for 480 inches. So that will also not work. Rather, what we do it is whatever is your feet size, we multiply it by 2 or 3. Okay. So I'll multiply it by 2. I'll go by 80 inch by 80 inch. I'll take it in inches. But remember, I am printing anything is for 100% resolution. But my file, I'm denoting that I'll take 80 inch by 80 inch and I will keep it to 300 resolution and click on create. And then my this file is created and this will then scale. It can scale up to 2x. Okay. So it will scale up to 2x, make that inches possible for me 2 times basically. Okay. Into 2 you can do. And then it will come perfect in your print output. So let's say I need to take 6 feet by 3 feet. Okay. Standee. Then I will rather put over here width as 6, height as 12, resolution 300, which is nothing but 3 by 6 if I divide it by 2, which is 3 by 6, and click on create. So this is going to be my standee size that I am going to take in my software. You don't, though 3 feet by 6 feet is possible over here. If I go to feet, okay, you can put 3 by 6 in Illustrator, it will work, but this is wrong. You should not take this. You should rather take the same thing of feet, multiply it by 2 and have the resolution of 300 and you will be able to manage it. Clear everybody? How do we take those print sizes of big sizes of vinyl, standees, flex, anything? Into 2, whatever is your feet, do it into multiply it by 2 and take it in 300 resolution. So let's say we have a hoarding of 30 by 10. Okay, 30 feet by 10 feet. What will, that's the resolution that I've got. Okay, so I'll open the, let me go over here. Width as 30 into 2. Okay, which is how much? First I'll take it to inches. My units should be inches. 30 twos are 60. Okay, 10 twos are 20. Okay, so 30 by 2 is what I've just multiplied by 2. My resolution is done, 300, and click create. Whatever I design in this, it can easily print for 30 feet by 10 feet. Okay, this is how it will work. But ensure that your resolution is 300. Clear? Now the another funny part. The file format is CMYK, everything. At times it could happen that you have taken a, let's say by mistake, for XYZ reason you are making all social media creatives, you can always see a error mark also when you take RGB, and it tells that the chosen color mode is different from the space defined and the document content may not match in your new color mode and all of that. It is still going to show you that error. You create it, okay? Let's say it's an RGB, okay? But 12 inch is 1 feet. Don't do that conversion, Chaitanya. If you convert that, your artboard will never be able to fit in your software, or your software cannot render that size in reality. So that's what I'm giving you the solution. Whatever is your feet, take the feet, multiply it by 2, put it as inches, and take the resolution as 300. We are playing with the resolution which multiplies instead of converting the actual thing into 72 resolution. Okay? Clear? So now coming back, if we are, where was I? I just missed. Okay, yeah. RGB CMYK. You can see this document is CMYK, this document is RGB. Let's do something. I take this color, I'll put a red, but I'll take a bright red like this. Okay. Whenever you take something which is out of print gamut, you can see over here, out of gamut warning, click to correct. So this will not come in print. As soon as I click here, it will take the nearest value which is possible in print. The error will go. And if I click OK, the color has changed. So if I, let's say I put side by side, do you see the difference between the two? Yes or no? A slight difference. Because this color cannot come in print, but this color can come in print. Okay. Let's say by mistake I have designed everything in RGB and it didn't give me any warnings because I wanted in RGB. I went like this, then I took another shape. I changed the color to blue like this. Okay. Copy this. I paste it in a CMYK file, see what happened. Whatever was in RGB, I just then realized, okay, let me copy this and make a new file of CMYK. I'll paste it in that. The colors automatically changed. The colors changed drastically. Okay, now let's say if I had to fix it over here, it changed a very little. Let's say I want to fix this over here. Okay, I could have gone, I can see my warning symbol, right? So maybe I'll take this one. So almost okay. Okay. Now if I copy this and paste it, you can see the difference. Do you see the difference? Which one is better? The top one or the bottom one? Bottom one. Correct? So you need to understand that just by copying and then pasting in a CMYK document once again is not going to fix it. Okay? It has to be done properly from basic. But another thing also, let's say you have this done it in RGB like this. Okay. Then later you realized, oh shit, I designed in RGB. Don't worry. You can always go to File, Document Color Mode, change it to CMYK. You click on it, the colors will change automatically to the level which adapts to CMYK. Now the document is in CMYK, but then ensure that you try to fix it to the colors you require. Okay? Try to fix it. You will have to fix it. So instead of doing that mistake, ensure that you take a CMYK document by default. If we design in inches and hand over for print, then it is converted into feet while printing, or we need to change from our side. Nothing, it will automatically get converted. It will all come because the resolution is 300. The output will still be perfect. You don't have to worry about it. And if you are giving in vector, if let's say your entire design, that too, it matters for designs which are raster. Okay, this particular formula. Let's say you are designing it for vector. Okay, everything is all vector in your file. You can directly take in any size of that ratio. Let's say if it is 3 feet by 6 feet, you can take 3 inch by 6 inch also. You can have 72 pixel resolution also and give it for print. It will still come 100% perfect. There will be no problem because it's a scalable graphics. The printer also knows the values. It can automatically mathematically calculate and print it perfect. Not a problem. That is why the printers always ask for PDF file format, because PDF file format can store the vector properties. You give them a JPEG file, it is gone for a toss. It is not going to work. you always need to give a editable PDF file. Now I'll show you that also. Before I get to that, let's talk about a little bit of text. So let's say I'm giving this text. Let's say I'm putting the text uh, final class of branding mastery. Let's say I just put this text. Okay. And let's say I change its font to some other font like this. Okay. And let's say I change its color to maybe orange. If I give this file for print, again, everything is CMYK, everything is perfect. I save it. Okay, I'm going to save it in my downloads. Let's say test printing one as a PDF file format. I save it. Remember, preserve editing capabilities. This has to be ticked. If it is unticked, that means the editing is not going to happen. The file will not open properly in CorelDRAW if the printer wants to open. If you keep it editable, it will open in CorelDRAW also, it will open in Illustrator also. And then I save the PDF. Done. This part is done. No worries. Okay. But the printing will still come for a toss because this font, what I have, the printer system does not have it. So what do we need to do? Any of the fonts, right click, create outlines. Okay. So now you see it became like a vector paths. It all became like dotted paths. Previously it was an editable text. I could edit. But as soon as I do Control Alt O, which is the shortcut. Okay, Control Shift O. It became a vector path. No more it is a font. It is an individual element. And if I give this file for printing, there will be zero errors. Clear, everybody? Zero errors in printing. Now, the second part, let's say from my files, I am going to add let's say this is the files I have over here. Let's say I'm going to add this logo in my print. Let's say I drag and drop, logo added. But you can see one thing, this is coming like an X because this is not embedded. If I click on embed, that X mark is gone and it says unembed. Okay, let's say I do unembed. It is asking me way to unembed it. Rather, let's see what is the problem of embed and unembed. Let's say I have it like this. I save this file. Okay, I saved it. Closing this file, closed it. For time being, I'm just changing the renaming this to logo 2A. I just renamed it. Okay. And I'm going to reopen my files from this test print one. And you can see could not find the linked file branding mastery logo. Choose to replace or select another file or ignore. Time being, I will do ignore. Okay. You can see how this is coming. It is there, but I don't see the embed unembed. So it is still not coming properly. As soon as I zoom in, it is just having a storing the thumbnail property, but the entire image is gone. Because to the printer, I only sent the PDF file and I did not give this file. The printer does not have this. This is what is going to come blur. So what do we need to do? Okay, so let's say I close this file again. Save changes, no. Okay, I will rename this back to what it was. Okay, and now again I'll open this file. There is no error coming. Everything is perfect. Now even if I zoom in, you can see this logo is correct. Okay, so what to do? You need to select it, embed it, and then save your file. And now, even if I don't give this file, considering I'm renaming here, which means I don't give, let's say I gave it 2B, I close this file. Now again, if I open this file, this thing is going to be correct only because it doesn't have a linkage with that file. Now you all understood embedding and unembedding. Is everybody clear with that? Yes? Perfect. Now coming to an other aspect of embedding and unembedding, many at times it does happen that we don't want to embed the file because as soon as you embed, I'll show you the difference also. So this is my file over here in downloads. Where is it? Oops, maybe I saved it somewhere else. 1 minute, guys. Yeah, it's in downloads only. So test print one. So let me refresh this. Yeah, this one. The file size is 942 KB because the image also is embedded into it. Image itself is 252 KB and that thing got added into this file. But as soon as I delete this, save this, okay, now you see the file, if I reload it, 373 KB. 900 KB became 373 KB. So automatically the file size is reduced. So how do I manage it? I need to give it with the image, right? So what do we do it is, let's say I add the image again. It is a linked image. I save it. How do we hand off the files to the printer with the linked images and all of it? Because you would have linked the images from multiple places, let's say. There is a way for it. File, package. Okay, you can see this package. Copy all the links, collect all in a separate folder. This is everything. What is the folder name? Let's say final test print. Package it. Okay. Okay, done. Now, over here, a folder got created. This entire folder is what you're going to give it to the printer. If you go inside this folder, you have your PDF file, you have the links folder, which has your image also linked into it. Clear? If you have links in your file, anything, you need to package it and then give it. What is the advantage of packaging? Let's look at one more example. Final class. Let's say I've added some text. This is one text. Let's say I take another text. Let's say it is this one bold. Okay. This is another text. And let's say I have one more text in my this thing. Let's say I go with this one bold. Okay. Let's say these are all the text. I forgot to outline it. No problem. File, package. Yes, save it. Package it in like final. Okay. Final test print 2. Package. Okay. Okay. Now, if I go to my package, final test print 2, I have even got the font files pulled in, which have been used in the document. So if the printer doesn't have those fonts, he will install these fonts and he will still be able to print it properly. Clear? Harsh, is your question also answered? How do we hand off the files to the printer? And you're giving a good PDF file which has all its links and fonts into it. But the better way is Control A, select all. Okay, these are all different fonts or whatever. Control A, press either right click and press outline strokes or Control Shift O. All of it will become a final outline version. And even if you now save this as a package, no fonts and all will come. So always save your editable version and then go with this test print 1 and hyphen outlined. Okay, so always have both the versions. Okay, don't worry, I'll cover that. Always have both the versions, which is an outlined version and an editable version. Because sometimes it does happen that printer wants to make some adjustments that you have missed out. He can still do it in this. But outlined version and the editable version along with all its link is how you should hand off this entire folder to the printer. You can right click it, you can compress it into a zip file, okay, add to an archive, zip file, and you can send this file to your printer, which he will then open, which will have all of this folder and all of the links into it. Okay, this is how the entire handoff has to happen for your printing. Now, coming to the next part of things, which I'll explain. Now, I will open from my resend this thing, this PDF. In this, you will understand the stickers thing, how I have given. This I had already explained once, but I'm re-explaining it today. Where this is my Dieline file, which is nothing but the cutting file. During the point of designing, I have taken care of all the information. But if you look at it, let's say if I copy this one, Control C, and I paste over here, Control Shift V, you will notice that this is my exact shape. And you can see there is colors which is coming outside also. This is called as the bleed, the one that is coming outside. That is the bleed part. Okay. because even if the printing or cutting happens little bit here and there, I will still get the exact blue or the violet color and not the white color added to it. Okay, so this is how my print, this is the cut line file, die line file, and this is my bleed which is added to this itself. And if you notice, this file is separate which is I have given, and this file is separate which I have given, which the printer will first print this, put the second file into the cutting machine as a guideline, and then the laser cutting machine will cut those on that particular paper following this cut lines. Okay, so copy this. Let's I take another design. This one, copy this, paste it over here. I'll remove the fill so that you can see. So this is my cut line, so that I have ensured that there is a white area in my sticker, and this is how my sticker will look like after cutting. Clear? Everybody? Are you all understanding? Yes, no, yes, no? Okay, awesome. So this is how we need to hand off the cut lines and the print files to the printer. If there are any kind of foldings or any of that, then yes, we do need to provide those lines also. Okay. But time being, I will pause over here. I'll jump onto resources. We are already surpassing the time. And I'll show you some more techniques which are really, really important. Now, don't miss it out, guys. The ones who miss are the ones who lose. Okay. Now, let me open the link for the giveaway, and I'll tell you what all is covered in that. So, firstly, these are some of the websites where you can find good amount of packaging inspiration. Okay. Like some of the best packaging inspirations you can find. There are a lot of websites that I have put in, and they've got thousands of examples for each and every brand. You will get them all. Okay. And you will be endless. You will see all the creative packaging, that packaging with all its insights and everything. You can click on it, you can see everything, you can see the entire case study of how they have presented and done everything, and you will love it all. Okay, there are tons of it that I have put in, and it is an endless thing. You can go for it, all for packaging. Okay, there are tons and tons of it. So let's close this for time being. Coming to the main part, where we use these websites to create Dieline files today. So let's say I want to create Dieline files for my boxes, which I don't know what kind of box I have. I can just select, okay, click on it, and then I can even customize my particular box as per my dimensions. What is the length, width, height? For each and every area, I can separately customize it over here. Okay. So I can just put it, and based on that, it will auto calculate whatever are the other part that it has to. So let's say if my height is little bit more, let's say height is 2 inches. Okay, based on that, everything gets calculated for this box, and my die line file is ready for me. A super friendly website created along with all the fold, all the bleed, everything is ready. Now I can then download this, but downloading requires a paid version. Okay, though you can create everything. Okay, so you can see, you just want inner dimensions, you can get that. You just want outer dimensions, you can get that. You want manufacturing dimensions, everything is possible. This is all about the dimensions. Okay, the dimensions which are mentioned over here. If you click on advanced, you can further go, which asks to upgrade, which is this version, everything given just for dimensions, nothing much changes. Basic is more than enough. Okay, and you can select what kind of paper and all of that. That is still not going to affect for you, so this is more than enough. Now how do I get this file? Okay, so I need to get this file, right, in some way or the other. So maybe I can share this. Okay, I can log in with my account, continue with Google. Let's say I continue with my account itself. Okay, and let's see what happens. This file will get saved in me. I can have up to 10 saves or as many saves I want, but I cannot download it. But I'm going to show you a method how you can download it even without paying. Are you all ready for it? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. So this is my Dieline file that I got over here. Okay. I can copy this link, copy public link, new tab. I'll just paste it over here. This is how the final file looks like. Okay. This is how my final file looks like. Now, as soon as I keep zooming in, you can see that none of it is getting blur. Okay. Okay, it is not even getting blur. And over here, you can see, you can even see the flat version to close version, the 3D depth of it. You can rotate this box, understand how your box is going to look like. Okay, as an example reference. But this thing I want to download. How do we do it? A very simple method is one, then please guys don't reveal this outside, keep it to yourself. Download this Chrome extension, which is SVG downloader. I will just enable this. Okay, SVG downloader. I will reload this link over here. This is somehow rendering an SVG scalable vector graphics. I click on it.